Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of the Youth Roundtable on Civic Space TV. I am Philip Muliisa. Today is the 13th of December 2023 and we are looking at the significance of opposition boycott of Parliament, but also paying keen attention to the response from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. We know the ministry about 3 weeks ago came out with a response. Opposition members of Parliament said we shall not sit in the House provided government does not account for missing people in this country, people that died during the riots in 2020, vehicles that are involved in these offenses, talk about illegal detentions, talk about disappearances, talk about generally human rights. And they said we shall not sit in that House. Ministry of Internal Affairs came, responded to these points one by one. We want to interrogate, was it a reasonable, was it a convincing response from the ministry? And in that aspect, do we say this government actually responds to the cause of the opposition? And to discuss that is a panel of distinguished gentlemen, young people from this country who I'll give a minute to each to introduce themselves. They help us understand who they are, and later we see the details of this show. I will start from my extreme left. Gentlemen.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Yeah. My name is Muzeyi Faizo. I am the head of Media and Communications Department of the Uganda People's Congress. I bring you greetings from our party president, the Honorable Mugumya Obote, and the entire party members across the country. I'm delighted to share the same panel with my brother. And of course, you are giving us the opportunity as younger people to come here and discuss the issues affecting our country and generally among the young people.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muzeyi, and thank you for the greetings from the UPC. And hopefully we shall talk a little bit about the UPC to see how things are going on and which is which and what is where's.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, viewers. My name is Robert Mugumya Muhairwe. I'm a political scientist. I am delighted to be here. Thank you for the invite. And I'm looking forward for the conversation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Robert and Mr. Muzeyi. Now, I want us to start here. In the recent past, we saw opposition members of Parliament. At some point, they left the House because their leader then, towards the 2021 elections, the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi then had been arrested, and they said we shall not be in the House until he's released. A few months later, the Honorable Alan Sewanyana was arrested with the Honorable Muhammad Segirinya, and MPs still boycotted Parliament, requesting government, asking government to release these members of Parliament. And today, the same members of Parliament chose not to be in the House because they say there are human rights violations in the country. They cite the shrinking civic space in the country. They talk about the allegedly targeting of Muslims for the various crimes and offenses that happen in the country. They say all that. But I want to start with you, who is from the UPC.
Yes.
Was it even justifiable for these people to leave Parliament?
Thank you so much for this wonderful discussion and topic. From the Uganda People's Congress, time memorial, we have believed in dialogue, constructive engagement of each other in case there is any issues amongst us. So as a party, when we go into elections, we go as Uganda People's Congress, we compete with those our fellow opposition members, the FDC, the NUP, the DP, the GMA, and the rest, PPP, and of course also the National Resistance Movement, the NRM. However, when we come back, we want to serve the people. I must categorically say or state that we stand with what the leader of opposition put on table, the issues of abuse of human rights we are against it as a party. We stand with the rule of law. And as a Uganda People's Congress, we abide by the law. Anything to do with the law, we are there. Anything that undermines democracy, anything that undermines the rule of law, anything that violates the human rights of people, we are against it. But again, if we have gone overboard, how do we solve it? If there's an issue, how do we solve it? For us, we believe in constructive engagements. You've pointed out a very important issue of when the Honorable Sewanyana and the Segirinya were arrested. But slightly before that, immediately after the 2021 general elections, you saw what other people termed political prisoners and some political arrests. A number of things happened. Now it took, UPC were under IPOD by then, we were under the Interparty
Organization for
Dialogue. So it took the party president, the Honorable Jim Akena, it took the president of DP, it took the president of NRM, who's the chairman of NRM, and at the same time, that was as the president of the Republic of Uganda. Jim also joined. They convened in the summit. That summit was in Kololo. It was a neutral ground. So they tabled. I know when in dialogue we may not agree, but the mere fact that we are here together, even if we share different opinion, but the mere fact that I can share this platform with my brother, meaning the dialogue has started. So they tabled a number of issues. They did not achieve all, but at least some were achieved. And we saw a number of political prisoners were released following the 2021 elections. We are released. So what am I saying? That engagement is very good. It's okay, you can boycott, but is it going to help? If it's not going to help, then what's the alternative? So recently, there was boycott of Parliament because of the arrest of the Honorable Sewanyana and the Honorable Segirinya. They boycotted. But now what did it was the boycott release these MPs. The Honorable Minister for Justice, Norbert Mao, recently confessed that it was engagement. It took the mother and the family of Honorable Sewanyana and Honorable Segirinya. They approached him. They approached different stakeholders. Then that's how it's those kind of engagement that so maybe these people got released. But of course, not to undermine the law and not to undermine not to undermine the court proceedings, but there was engagement. So for us as UPC, we believe in constructive engagements and dialogue. And we also believe that there were people who were arrested. Others with cases as...
Briefly, Mr. Muzeyi,
yes.
In summary, trying to say the leader of opposition and the members of parliament should have sat on the table with the NRM, with whoever is involved, and they see how they solve these issues without leaving parliament.
Parliament is not limited to the issue of human rights alone. No, Parliament has a lot. Therefore, bigger issues, this legislation and oversight. I mentioned them. There are a number of issues. So even that period, they were out of Parliament. A number of issues. A lot happened. You get, and we thought even their voice when they were in Parliament would be very important, but they missed on some of the key important aspects discussed on, like the issue of the oil when the government was monopolizing
the Petroleum Supply Amendment.
Yes. So if for me, I believe that if opposition MPs were there, you see, we missed on their opinions. We missed on their important opinions and decisions on that bill. It's very important. You know, transport sector and oil, that's the engine, or they're the engine of the economy. You see, we've been crying over escalating or hiking prices of essential commodities. But what was determining that is the price of fuel. So we missed on a very important discussion.
But you see, maybe for the record,
Yes.
much as they did not sit in the House, they could attend committee business, and we know laws. Much of the work about laws is done in the committees. So
Yes.
perhaps they had their input on the law.
Yeah, even my president, others were there, others were not there, and my president, he sits on that natural
Resources
committee, and they did even field work. That work, involved a lot of things, committee field work, and they discussed a lot. So what we are saying that I know this issue of human rights demanding for the release or trial of those who were arrested has been on for over and over time. And it took the opposition, maybe they thought that it's the high time we boycotted the parliament, and we demand commitment from government. We demand a report on the issues we have raised. I respect it, but for us as UPC, we believe that engagement is a continuous process. Dialogue is a continuous process. You're not going to hold someone at ransom, no, but it's a continuous process. It's a win-win game. You're not going to say that I'm coming, I want this. No, you must discuss, put issues on table, and then discuss.
Thank you so much, Bwana Muzeyi. I want to come to you. The UPC man says they believe in dialogue, and he says these people should have talked to the NRM, talked to government, and see how they resolve these issues. But don't forget, it's been 3 years. The election was in 2021. Political prisoners, people killed. Did they have a better option?
Thank you, moderator. And this is an interesting topic. I'm glad you brought it up. Number one, boycott or impasse is not a good practice. It should be the last resort. In mature democracies, boycott or impasse is the last resort. So I encourage the leaders of parliament to always have constructive discussions, dialogue. But you see, the moment you want to hold government at ransom, then you will not have a clear conversation. Number two, government is saying, no, you see, opposition, we cannot dance on your tunes. But opposition is saying, you can dance on our tunes. Now, number three, what I have seen with the opposition of Uganda, I want to state it categorically, is that unfortunately the opposition of Uganda is degenerating, it has had, it wants to attract international image, it rides on international image, it wants to attract the attention of the international community, and always they will have to dramatize, to do comedy all the time in order to attract the international community. Unfortunately, the international community sometimes also believes in what the opposition of Uganda is saying. A small issue in most cases is blown out of proportion in Uganda's case. And every time the opposition of Uganda gets a chance abroad, they are there to really to spoil the government of Uganda, to talk so much bad things about the government of Uganda. And it is in most cases, it is disturbing. Every time the opposition, especially the NUP, is given a chance outside Uganda, what they talk about Uganda, one would think Uganda is not a government. They keep saying the human rights, the issues of human rights.
You see, Mr. Mugumya, if I can interrupt there, the NUP and the opposition, led by the leader of opposition, the Honorable Matthias Mpuuga,
Yes, sir,
are out of parliament because 56 people were killed. They are out of parliament because there is a son out there, there is a daughter out there, there is a wife out there who does not see her husband, there is a husband who does not see his wife, there is a child who has not seen the father for the last 3 years, and you call that a small issue?
Thank you. I'm not calling it a small issue. My point is, when the opposition, for example, you saw a video of the NUP members attacking the security forces during the 2021 elections. Why are you not using the same voice to really talk about that? That it is okay for the opposition to attack security personnel. Is it okay?
It isn't.
And then when the security personnel come and arrest the opposition, it is okay. So it is disturbing that sometimes the media is not giving the same conversation when it comes to opposition issues, but it is giving too much attention to the opposition. But when it comes to government, the media sometimes changes a little bit. For example, I agree with the points of the law. I agree with them in entirety. These are not small issues. Human rights, the missing persons, the 20, November 2020 issues that happened around there. I agree with them. But you see, government is saying, hey, we are not seated. We are working on them. The Minister of Internal Affairs has come with a document. It's saying we can account for everyone. For starters, it is the duty of government to account for everyone residing in the country. And government of Uganda is not seated. The opposition seems to sound that government of Uganda is not minding. Is it true?
Is it minding?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
How?
The government comes out and says, this is what we are doing, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and they have come out with the detailed report.
You see, Mr. Mugumya, this subject is quite sensitive. If you had a daughter and you spend 3 years without seeing your daughter, and they tell you he or she is in the arms of the security agencies, your daughter has not appeared in courts, your daughter is not anywhere, you don't know where they are, but government says we are investigating 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Sometimes some of these issues are not small issues. They need a longer time of investigations.
But present this person to court.
Yes, they need longer time. I agree that all is not 100%. There is no perfect situation. I'm sure even if the opposition took over government, they are not going to handle things 100% perfect. There is no utopian world. But is the government trying to do something about the situation? That should be a conversation. Yes or no? Government has come out with the report and is saying, we are accounting for the following people. This one is here. This one, we have done investigations. We have gone to near. We are looking for the details of these people. The government is not saying, no, we don't care about you. Is it what government is saying? Government is saying, we are trying our best. Although what I see from opposition is that they want always to government to dance on their tunes, and you're not going to find this anywhere in the world.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mugumya. I want to come back to you from the UPC, Mr. Dennis Muzeyi. Faizo Muzeyi, sorry. Now, you see, the opposition, according to the gentleman here, wants that attention.
Oh, yes.
Populist. But you see, in the DNA of political parties, it is about doing anything that will help you to attract numbers. And if it is dancing to what he calls the international camera tune, then you have to, because you need the numbers, because numbers translate into strength, and the strength puts you in office. Is that not what a UPC party would want to do?
What you've been explaining is guided by principles. As the Uganda People's Congress, we have guiding principles. And these principles are born from our party constitution. I think a number of people were saying that we are not seeing UPC, but UPC, we are doing our work. When we were in Oyam recently, Oyam not by election, following the death of our the new minister, his rest in peace, UPC was on ground. Other people were in camera doing what you were explaining. But what turned out? UPC took what? So the leadership of my president, Honorable Makena, is not the leadership of some people that meet. Is it cheap popularity? You get? It's not. He's not a man who's going just to jump for the camera because he wants to be seen on TV. No. During the age limit debate, remember that period? My party president said that my no is no, and my yes will be yes, and he will substantiate. When he went to the floor of Parliament, he did not jump over the table. I don't know whether you have any clip seeing him jumping over the table, saying, you know, oh yes. It never happened with him. He stood up. He stood up. He raised. He said, "I vote no," and he discussed on different platforms, and his voice was heard. You get? So we need to have issue-based discussions, not cheap popularity. As my brother was explaining it, we need to focus on issue-based. We need to focus on issues that reflect the concerns of our people in the community. Those issues we have in our manifestos, different manifestos when we are looking for votes. You see, all of us, more so I'll limit myself to elected leaders. They had their manifesto. Even and the ruling party right now in the government, they had their manifesto. For us, UPs do not present a presidential candidate, but different political parties present a presidential candidates. And I think it's only one manifesto at the end of the day that can succeed. And after succeeding, it's now their task and mandate to implement the manifesto. Even those who were at the parliamentary level, they also had what they promised people to deliver in their manifesto. But how are you going to deliver? Is it going that immediately after the general elections you start critiquing? That's where I've had a problem. Elections, we are in 2021. Now in 2022, we have started campaigns for 2026. When are you going to deliver what you promised people to deliver? And then secondly, for us, where we don't want to do dramatic events, you see, for you to be, you're in opposition, and you said you're going to work on schools, you're going to work on roads, you're going to work on health, whatever you promised. How are you going to deliver on that promise? Are you going to pull in your pocket? That's why we said that we need constructive engagements, which my brother also emphasized. If your political party is not in the government, you're in a position of MP. You've been there for over 2 terms, and why are they sending you over and over? Because you're serving, you're delivering. And how are you delivering? Is it your wallet? No, it's taxpayers' money, but through those in the government. So after elections, we need to engage. When there was a time when Honorable Betty Namboze was arrested. Allegation is relating to the death of the Honorable Biden. Was it Moses Abiriga? You remember?
Because of the statements she made in that
regard. By coincidence, that very day, my party president was addressing a press conference. It was on Wednesday. And he said, he was touching on this very issue we are discussing now, of the arrests and whatever. Then he said that, you see, when you present a case that my person is missing, this one was arrested, you also provide sufficient information to enable those responsible to take up the matter. But he was abused. Then we asked, how is those in charge, be it police or other security agencies or government or Minister of Internal Affairs, how are they going to pick up the issue when you have not provided sufficient information? Is that wrong?
You see, Muzeyi,
yes,
providing sufficient information. When I say I can't find Muzeyi, there is a government in this country that has security apparatus, but to be specific, intelligence apparatus, in the names of CID, in the names of ISO, in the names of GISO, in the names of CMI. All those agencies are in place to make sure they have information about Uganda and the people in Uganda. When I say I can't find Muzeyi, government has a responsibility through those institutions to investigate and find that particular person, not so.
You see, providing information, it's beyond what's in NILA, like your national ID.
Yes.
It has where you come from, When I was leaving home, I told them I'm going to Civic
Space.
space for a discussion. They told them I've not been there, but they told me it's in Tinda. I knew it was in Tinda, but exactly they told me to go alone. So if I went missing today, I think that's the kind. I'm not an expert in security. Neither am I good maybe in the other part, but I'm giving a picture. That's the kind of some starting point information you get. The NILA information alone. Okay, I come from Namutumba district. That's my district. The NILA would say this person comes from Namutumba, Usiki, Ulang Sabu County, Buaga village. You get? Is that enough? Right now, I'm in Namutumba right now. I am not there. So I think security knows what they think. I mean, what they term by providing sufficient information. But we need to help each other. And I think we should stop politicking sometimes. I'm not saying that some other people are politicking, but we need to focus. I must emphasize that we need to focus on issue-based politics. You get? After elections, can we engage and deliver? Can we cooperate? Other people, when I sit with you, I know you're a neutral person, I don't know. But if you're here, you're NNLM, when I sit with you, that's what. It's not a crime. Are you getting? We are in multi-party politics or dispensation. You get? Whereby those who are saying that they cannot sit with each other, but we're in parliament. You get? Parliament is not one party. Parliament. We're not in movement system. We're in multi-party politics. So when they saw you as a minister of works and transport, that again, hey, you're dealing with NRM. No, you have an issue of road in your constituency, and the only person responsible for that is the minister. Are you getting? So we need to focus on bigger issues, on the bigger picture. The issues of the roads, they don't know whether you're NRM or UPC, whether you're done yellow or red. The issues of health, the issues of education. Right now, we are saying recently, as UPC, we are saying that right now, it's true that there is access to schools, but there is no access to quality education. If we are all taking our children in UPE schools, if there is no quality education service, it doesn't know whether you're putting on yellow, red, or blue. Are you getting?
What's the missing link in there?
The missing link is that there is access to
school and quality.
They are different. There is access to schools. You can come here. You get? It's a beautiful structure. I can see it. But is there quality education service? Are you getting? You go to government hospitals, those which have been rehabilitated. You get? You'll find a very beautiful structure, but people are crying there is no medicine. So that's the missing link. So if there is no medicine in the hospital, in the government hospital, in the health center of government, it doesn't know which color you're putting on. So these issues that affects us all in the societies, we need to come together and discuss them without politicking. That's our emphasis. And if it needs to engage government, we should engage, because it's NRM, the ruling government. For us, we are government in waiting. The only thing we can do is to offer advice. If we cannot offer, where government has done well, we appreciate. As UPC, where government has done well, we appreciate. Where things are not going well, we offer advice.
I mean, you should appreciate your UPC.
Sorry?
You should appreciate.
We must do. What I'm saying that if where government has done well, we appreciate. Where it's not doing well, we also advise and engage. Because right now, as I conclude, we are not in government. Are you getting? Those who have the mandate and the obligation of serving the people of Uganda, ensuring that they have a good service delivery, security, and all of those things, it's the government.
Thank you so much. And I want us to really go deep in these issues raised by the leader of opposition, but also see the response of the minister. I saw General Muhoozi David reading this report to Parliament, and I want us to talk about these issues case by case. The first case was, the allegation was that Uganda is among the worst human rights abusers. And the minister says this is sweeping unsubstantiated, and false. Mr. Mugumya, sweeping, unsubstantiated, false human rights.
Now, when you say, when the opposition claims that Uganda has extreme, they call it extreme abuses of human rights between you and me, is that true? I agree, whereas they may be isolated cases of human rights abuse. But when you use the word extreme, then you don't know what extreme means. You haven't been in countries where if opposition cannot even go on a national TV and say, hey, government, you're doing this. Now, where in Uganda, opposition, you can mention anything and go away with it. You know about Frontline? There is a program called Frontline.
I do.
They mention all sorts of things and they go away with it. There are other political shows across the country. You go as opposition, mention your case and go away with it. I'm not denying that they are isolated cases, and these isolated cases, they are everywhere in the world. Now, the opposition always says, this one is in Uganda, but it doesn't happen in any other country. I want to invite you to appreciate that even in the United States, the one you call modern democracy, there are issues of abuse of human rights. Fact or fiction?
But you see, Mugumya.
But let me drive my point with your permission, moderator.
Please.
When you mention extreme, it's not right. But once you say there are issues of human rights abuse in the country, that's a good language. That's my point of departure. Extreme, in my case, is not in Uganda. Unless you don't know the meaning, unless the opposition doesn't know the meaning of extreme. That even in the United States, even in the United Kingdom, people are arrested. There are shootings, and there are shootings in the United States. Exactly my point. So when a small issue happens in Uganda, I'm not saying it should happen. No, there shouldn't be any case of human rights abuse. But in an event that some isolated cases happen in the country, don't demonize your country and say, we are dead, we need help, we are finished. For starters, Uganda has Human Rights Commission, which is charged with all issues of human abuses of human rights. And on several occasions, they have come out with reports, including this alongside the issues of these 6 points that the opposition is, the leader of opposition is really talking about. So, whereas I do not agree that there are no isolated cases of human rights abuse in the country, I do not agree in entirety that the situation is extreme. I mean, tell me a country where there is no some of these issues. Tell me. You mention it and say, can Uganda be like that country? Mention it and I will remind you that there are issues of human rights abuse across the world.
You see, the issue is not that there are human rights abuses in UK or US or Sweden or wherever.
Yes, sir.
The issue is, for example, someone is arrested, is not on the record of the Uganda Prison Services, but is detained somewhere, not official, and is not seen for 1, 2, 3 years. The Human Rights Commission is there. It says we do not know where this person is. You saw cases where committees of parliament visited places allegedly called safe houses operated by government, and they were denied access.
Now, Mr. Moderator, I want to ask you a question. How sure will you be that anybody missing is detained by government?
It is the mandate of government to produce
Exactly.
people.
Where does government get information? From the people. Government doesn't collect information from satellite. Government collects information using its people. In an event that you're not able to give government sufficient, and I also fault the government that sometimes when people come to give witness to police investigations, again they are disturbed, they are inconvenienced, they are bothered, all sorts of things that come here they are detained, which is not the right thing. But what I'm saying, I don't condone the idea that the government abuses the rights of the people. Yeah, I condemn it 100%. My issue with the opposition is the over-exaggeration of the point. That a small issue is blown out of proportion, is exaggerated. What are they interested in? To attract the international image. That, hey, Uganda is the worst government the world has ever seen. But between you and me, you walk freely. You can be out at 3 a.m.
Oh, come
There
on.
is someone who is protecting you, but you're not giving appreciation. Give credit where it is due. You've heard about nightlife. People in the night are having fun across the country. Why are you not giving credit that whereas there are small issues of human rights abuse, but the general picture of the country, people are really having fun, security is in control of the country, and that is why you're here.
You see, walking in the night or having the security is not a privilege. It is a right.
I agree.
It is not a privilege.
I agree, but can you give credit where it is due?
There is a group of people who are in charge of the state of this country.
Yes.
They have both financial and enforcement weapons to make sure this country is safe and secure.
I agree.
It is not a privilege.
Can you give credit where it is due?
And they have given credit.
Whereas it is not, it is a privilege for your father, your parents to take you to school, but you appreciate them. It is the duty of your parents to take you to school.
Yes.
Don't you appreciate them to have taken you to school?
You do.
Exactly my point.
And
whereas it is a noble duty for government to protect citizens and their property in the country, can people give credit where it is due?
Don't you think 3 years is enough appreciation time and time to ask government to produce a certain person?
You see, my issue with opposition is that it is them or nothing. That's my issue. That's my point of departure. They want to hold government at hostage, that it is we or nothing. Especially the noob. The noob has and they are good at their game. Everywhere they have a camera around them to capture the moment. Why to capture the moment? To use the same moment against the establishment. But you see, generally speaking, whereas there are isolated issues of human rights, especially during elections, partly which I put upon the opposition, that during elections, they become mad. They become mad. For example, you have seen in mature democracies how people demonstrate. Is that the same way the noob demonstrate in the country?
In this country, when you want to demonstrate, they will tell you to ask for permission from some police officer, from some minister.
That's per the law. Those are the laws that the Parliamentary made.
That was nullified by the Constitutional Court.
Now, as long as opposition cannot do things within the confines of the 1995 Constitution, then we have no point. That there is a huge difference between the demonstrations in other democracies and the demonstrations in Uganda. In Uganda, it is a do or die during elections.
You see, when I'm hungry, I don't have to ask anyone permission to be able to eat. The reason I go to demonstrate is because I'm hungry. There is something that is not adding up.
Can you demonstrate peacefully as per the confines of the law? Can you make your case be heard as opposed to stoning the security forces?
Can I give you an example?
My brother, haven't you seen clips of opposition, especially NUP, stoning the police?
But we've also seen police coming to interject in a peaceful demonstration by Stella Nyanzi, carrying her placards, and they round her up, take her to prison.
Now, when you mention that name, I don't want to really talk about that name because the whole country knows that name, that she's dramatic and she's a PhD holder, but she doesn't behave like someone who has a PhD. She's dramatic
How
in whatever.
Should they behave?
Haven't you seen Stella Nyanzi undressing herself?
Yes.
Is that something that you condone?
She has the right to do what she wants.
No, you have a right, but there are responsibilities and duties. That whereas you could be having rights as enshrined in the 1995 Constitution, there are duties and responsibilities. Whereas you have a right to undress, you do not undress in public. Whereas you have a right to really demonstrate, there are confines. There is a way you're supposed to do it. You do not stone the security forces. You do not hold government at ransom. You saw how the opposition members were behaving in Parliament, fighting. It's all or nothing. Can you urge your case without fighting? The country will see you. So even when they fight, I want to assure you that everywhere in the world, the role of the state is to protect its survival. That nobody under the sun can challenge the state and go away with it. So while you're demonstrating, at the back of your mind, you should know that the law will catch up with you. Make your point, but within the confines. There are procedures on how you demonstrate. But the issue here is that when it comes to no, it's them or nothing. It's government is the worst they have ever seen. Of course, we know that they want to attract the political mileage. They want to attract the sympathies. They want to attract all those kinds of things. In any case, if they don't do that, they will not get the funding. They will not. Of course, you have to say that there are issues with human rights in the country for you to be able to attract the international community. In any case, if you don't say that, then you're not working.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Muzeyi Faizo,
Yes.
when you listen to Mr. Mugumya here, he seems not to agree with the opposition. And the two of you seem to agree on some basic facts about this subject. But
Issue-based.
I want to take you to another issue in this space. There are 18 recorded missing people by the NUP. And in the minister's statement, he says when they investigated, they got records of 9 people, and the records of other 9 were not found. They are not captured at NERA. They are not captured at immigration. They are not captured from forensics. And therefore, the state doesn't know who these people are. What's the fate of these people?
It's the responsibility of those responsible and those claiming that their persons are missing provide sufficient information. It's the government that issues what? Identification documents. If they have such documents, they should do challenge government. That's okay. And I don't.
In other words, are you saying these people do not exist?
I'll not say that. I don't change my statement. What I'm saying that they should provide sufficient information. If government is saying that we don't know these people, in other case they're saying that these are ghosts, maybe, if I may use that word. But they should provide sufficient information to enable.
Let me give you information in that regard. When I am here,
yes,
Philip, and I say, my brother Faizo is nowhere. I haven't seen him. I am a brother. There is a sister, there is a mother, there is a father, all claiming for this person. Is that not evidence enough that there is a person called Faizo missing?
I think to government right now, as we are discussing, any information is not verbal. The information they are looking for, maybe, I think it's not verbal. They are looking whether it can be a school aid, it can be national aid, it can be a passport. I think that's government saying we don't have these people, we don't know about them. And it's also, there is also a possibility that you can try maybe to allege for other interests, other motives we don't know. And government can also distance for other motives we don't know. So the only issue that can solve that is providing sufficient information.
You say documentation. My great-grandfather in the village did not go to school, therefore does not have a school ID. He has never traveled out of this country, therefore no passport.
The chairman
he has not registered for national ID. You know how those services came in.
Yes. We have structures. We have local council. I don't think there is any person, but unless if you came, for us who are in the suburbs of Kampala, you may just bump into a village and start renting. That's some villages or zones whose chairpersons are not all that responsible. Are you getting? So, but in most cases, at least the chairman must know about you. At least a few families in the community must know about you. So, to me, I must emphasize that we need to engage without putting anyone at ransom. We need to engage each other. We need to provide sufficient information. But going back to what my brother was discussing, recently there was an organization that was launching its survey on the state of democracy in Uganda and Africa. And then they were asking us different questions about what asked them. They say in South Africa, democracy means employment opportunities. Democracy then means good service delivery. Then ask them, did you bother at any point to find out, apart from your structured questions and questionnaires, did you bother to find out at any point what democracy means to Ugandans? That one was not answered well. Then you see, in my submission, to trace the level of democracy in Uganda right now, you need to go a little bit back. Like we can state in the military decree of March 1971, if I've not forgotten, of Amin, when they suspended or they banned political parties in the country. So that alone, it has an injury on Democracy Day. Come to 79 to 80s, those two governments, that of Yusuf Lule, that of Binaisa, they also have their implications. Now in 1980, they had there was some kind of multipartism, because that relation interacted the political parties, DP, UPM, UPC, what else? I can leave the rest of those. So the overthrow of the UPC government in 1985 and the coming in of the NRA in 1986 was their legal notice number 1 of that very year. It saw political party operations limited at their political party headquarters. It was a movement system. It limited. It suspended the operation of political parties. So that one killed the political space, the multi-party participation space. That one was replaced by the new constitution of 1995. I think it's Article 263. I think we can check. I'm not sure of that very spirit. So the restoration of multi-party politics or dispensation in 2005, it also came with its own issues. The spirit of the military decree of Amin, the spirit of the legal notice number of 1986, it was resurrected in the Public Order and Management Act, POMA. You see where the political space is limited, is restricted up to now, even when some issues were sorted out in the court, but still that spirit of where you see, as I was accounting for the events, that spirit still was there, and it contributing the shrinking civic space in the country. So those are some of the issues we need to discuss soberly, and we need to discuss with goodwill. For us as UPC, we are saying that there is no goodwill of those responsible to ensure that everything, there is a level ground for multi-party politics in the country. There is a level ground for nurturing of our younger democracy in the country. It's true that Uganda is not doing perfect, or it's not doing well in democracy, but it's also not good to abandon. As UPC, we are going, and we shall continue to participate in every platform to ensure that the country we want as Ugandans, the Uganda we want that can accommodate all of us, we participate and we contribute to building that democracy we want. You cannot build that democracy when you're outside. You must be in the field to ensure that that field you're participating in, it's leveled. We know it's not leveled, but we must participate, and we shall use every platform. That's why for us, that's why we don't believe in this kind of boycotting and other things. We participate. Even if something not good, we participate and we ensure it's good. How are you going to perfect it if not part of it? You must be part of that something to ensure that your voice is heard But how is it going to be hard when you're outside? You must be inside and correct what you want to correct when you're there. But if you're not there, you're going to miss the chance, and your good thoughts are not going to be heard. So what am I saying? That we need to build together. Recently, when the police revived the special branch, you see that branch, it was purposely, it was a specialist, highly trained specialist branch or unit with trained people. It used to investigate and collect information on a bit a minister, bit what, all these people. It was that special branch, and it was invisible. The things of this one, we want information. It could even help in appointments, which was replaced, I think, by ISO right now. They are doing a related job, but it was so helpful by then. So when government revived it, when police revived it recently, as UPC, we appreciated it, and we urged police and government that they should do special. I mean, they should come out clearly and earmark their role so that it cannot be interfered with by other security agencies. That's what was our call. Then there was the very important aspect which my brother touched on. You see, we have had issues to do with the collecting information from the public by police. But now when you come out to give information, now you become a suspect. Are you getting? So that one alone, that mistrust. Now police, people from the public fears police. They have sufficient information, but then they will be the suspect. Are you getting? So that kind of mistrust and the missing link between the public and the police, it has also caused us a lot. There is a criminal in the community, but police, the people, members of the public, are fearing to give information to the police. They're also worried about their safety. Because once you detain, I've given information quietly, but you're detaining me. And even the criminal is knowing that I've given information about the criminal, I'm detained, that criminal will come for you.
What creates that gap? Is it on the side of police or the population?
I think this is something police need to work on. They have that mandate in intelligence. They need to work. They know. I told you I'm not a security person, but when it comes to intelligence, they need to perfect it and they need to improve on it.
Since
they need to ensure.
Since you mentioned it, let me give you some background on that one. Recently, in the recent past, say from around 2005.
Yes.
Actually 2000, we've seen the militarization of Uganda police. And we all know, you and I know, that the training of the military is far different from the training of police. Yes. But we see military people appointed into police, and there is no new training given to these people. Could that be one of the reasons we are seeing a changing face of police and true reflecting in the operations?
You see, as you've clearly stated, UPDF, they are trained, they're meant to keep our boundaries. But also other people in Atlanta understand they are trained to kill.
That's the training.
Don't romanticize it.
They are trained to kill. Now police is a service. To keep police. Law, to keep law and order. And even when you read on the letterhead, it's down there at the bottom, to keep law and order. It's a civil. Is it civil?
Force.
Yeah, it's a service. Are you getting? And in most cases, they come, even if they come with a gun, they come to scare, but not to shoot to kill. Are you getting? So we need to differentiate the two. And it can be one of the causes, I think, or I guess. So to me, we need to ensure, with all the professionalism we have as the Uganda Police Force, to ensure that we restore the public trust, or the trust between the public and the police. To help us in intelligence, there is no way, I can repeat this, there is no way you're going to get information or you're going to fulfill the intelligence service without that cooperation in working together.
Thank you so much. That's a very critical point, and I want to pick your view of it. Uganda police and the peoples. We have the military in here, but the key point is there is loss of trust, there is loss of contact and communication between the police and the people. How did we get here and how do we solve it?
Well, for starters, it's not a good thing for the to have a gap between the police and the people, because when you look at the police, for police to do their work very well, they need people on their side. Police is a civil force. Now, militarization of police, number one, I don't agree with it. I distance myself from the idea of militarizing the police, because, like he said, these two forces, the military and the police, are trained differently and they have different backgrounds. The military is trained to protect the territorial integrity of the country, and they are trained to kill. Now, the police, on the other hand, is trained to police the people, to protect people and their property. So it's a different thing. So when you add military in the police, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. Number two, I will put a blame on police why there is mistrust between police and the people. That I want to be comfortable to give you information. If you promise me that you're going to protect me, you're going not to harass me, and you're not going to waste my time and inconvenience me.
And identity.
And identity, protect my identity. If you inconvenience me, then next time I'm not going to give you information. Usually they say, we have held him to aid the police in the investigations. Meaning, truly, you're becoming a suspect. So I would really encourage police to really look into it and find a way of a good, dear relationship between the police and the people. Because once the people have trust in you, they'll give you all the information you want. Once they know they are protected and they are not going to be inconvenienced. Imagine if you say, I've seen a terrorist there. You're going to be with the police the rest of your life. How did you see him? How did it start? How
does he
how
look
did
like?
you know he's a terrorist? So it's much more. Such a thing detaches the people from police, and it's a bad thing, because we all know that in intelligence you need the information from the people. You cannot create your own intelligence. The people give you the information, which later becomes intelligence.
Thank you so much. And you know, we had General Katumba Mala in that space. We had General Kale Kaihura in that space. The late former Lokech and currently Tusime Kasigazi in that space. One of the top leaders, but also you have the chief of operations, Kandwanaho Abel, and a couple of others. I wonder, what is in the president's mind in trying to put these people in the police?
Well, the appointing authority, the head of state, has his reasons why he's appointing these people. It's something I'm not privy to. I don't have good information about it, but I understand. Once you're the head of state, the interest of protecting the people, protecting the country, are much more, and you've got to do anything humanly possible to protect the people. So I want to think that in his wisdom, the head of state, he thinks that clearly having these people in the police would help a point or two, which I'm not privy to. I don't have clear information. But I want to tell you that in his wisdom, he knows why he's recruiting these people in the police. Something that I cannot really understand, because police, at least, police has been trained for a long period of time, and police has huge human resource, huge knowledge, huge expertise, huge skills in managing the people. So I don't think that the human resource of police have no people that can really fill these gaps that are coming from the military. But I will leave it at that point. The head of state knows clearly why is Sabarwany, and he knows very well when it comes to security and defense of the country.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. And key to note is that sometimes police has a role to just come and advise its citizens and advise on how you should conduct yourself. Even when you're a suspected criminal, they can come and say, oh, come on, what you are doing is not right. Please leave it at that, which might not be the aspect of the military people. But thank you so much, gentlemen, and thank you, our viewer. It is the Youth Roundtable on Civic Space TV. We are heading into a very short break, and we shall be right back.
National Water and Sewage Corporation is committed to providing cost-effective, clean, safe and reliable quality water and sewage solutions in urban centers across Uganda. National Water and Sewage Corporation reaffirms its commitment to 100% service coverage, geographical expansion, infrastructure development, water quality, pro-poor initiatives, customer care and stakeholder engagement, catchment and water source protection. Be a water hero. Pay your bills to zero balance. Report all leaks, busts, and illegal water connections to enable us serve you better. Reach us through our toll-free numbers on 0800 200 977 or 0800 300 977. You can also communicate with us through any of our online platforms or visit the National Water and Sewage Corporation office nearest to you. This message is brought to you by National Water and Sewage Corporation.
Welcome back from that short break. You are still on Uganda's leading freedom platform, Civic Space TV, and this is the Youth Roundtable. I am Philip Muliisa. Today, we are looking at the significance of opposition's boycott of Parliament in light of the response from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and discussing that is a panel of distinguished young gentlemen in this country, Mr. Robert Mugumya, who is a political scientist, and Mr. Faizo Muzeyi, who is the spokesperson of the Uganda People's Congress. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with us. Now, where we broke off, we were talking about some of these issues, but I want to talk about this issue of, there was an allegation that security, institutions in this country target Muslims for the particular offenses that happen. If it's terrorism, it is some Muslim name that appears. If it is, murder, if it is rape, whichever case that happens, the opposition says government targets Muslims. And in the report, the minister tries to disprove that. He says you have 16% Muslims in the prisons, you have 43% Catholics, 29 Protestants, and a couple of others. But I want us to expand this debate, not just to the point of identity. And identity, I talk about religion, I talk tribe, I talk maybe political party too. These are some of the things that identify individuals in this country. What is the state of the identity of individuals in this country? Recently, we had the Equal Opportunities Commission release a report that said jobs in this country are distributed according to tribe, according to region, and they said the Western region takes the highest percentage of the jobs in this country, followed by Central region, and far by the East and the North. What is the state of identity in the country of Uganda? I'll start with you. Are we focusing more on I am a Munyankole, a Muganda, a Musoga, a Muslim, and a Catholic, more than we should focus on the country, Uganda?
Well, thank you so much. It's unfortunate that that point is coming through. Number one, for starters, you and me know that Uganda is a secular country. It's not about one religion, but a million religions in the country. The country is open to religions. You can join any religion you want. Issues of jobs, nepotism. Well, for starters, we all need each other in this country. There is no one who can survive in isolation. That a Muganda needs a Munyankore, an Easterner needs a Muganda. We all need each other. And the president has always been talking about how we need each other. That my produces in my community, I might not get customers for my produces because probably we may be producing similar products. So I need another tribe X that may not be producing my product to buy my product, and I will also buy their products. That's the baseline. That this country, everybody is important, and I thought we are far from that kind of politics of identity. In any case, I don't know the angle they are coming through, the opposition, the angle they are coming through to really mention that the Muslims are targeted. And I'm glad that the Minister of Internal Affairs is coming through with a report to disprove that, look, whereas you're saying we are targeting Muslims in ourselves, in Ruzera, the biggest percentage is Catholics, followed by Protestants. So Muslim is down. So probably, maybe, of course, you see, you cannot know the religion of a suspect. You only go for a suspect. The religion bit comes at a later stage. So when I'm coming for you as a suspect, I don't know your religion. So really, I don't understand where that point is coming through. But the baseline is that Uganda has a diversity of tribes, and these tribes have a long period of time been staying together. And these religions, initially we didn't have them in Uganda. All these religions came from outside. Of course, you will recall that the Catholic, the Protestants came first in 1878. 1 year later, Catholics came in 1879. But there was Uganda before that. So the issue of religion, it shouldn't be really brought up, because I think that when security forces are coming for a suspect, I don't think they are coming for religion. Yeah, you are a suspect regardless of your religion. So that should be the bottom line. And I'm glad the report has exonerated the security forces.
Thank you so much. Mr. Muzeyi,
Yes.
people argue that when you go to the Ministry of Internal Affairs to get a passport, the first thing they ask after your name is, what tribe are you? What religion are you? Wherever you go in any office, if you need documentation, these are the things they ask. Is it time we change that, system to concentrating on, are you actually Ugandan? Is it about time?
Thank you. If it's an invisible government policy, we condemn it, and it's really very bad and wrong. If it's these bad elements in the system, they should be wiped out. Are you getting? And we employ people who are who are up to the task and fit for a job. Are you getting? On merit. Because I don't see it anywhere in these all these employment policies we have in public service. So as UPC, we are a nationalistic party, and our government back then, in the days, we believed in nationalism, Pan-Africanism, and internationalism. We condemn, and we don't believe in targeting people based on their backgrounds, be it religion, be it tribe, and other things. You can mention them. You've mentioned the Equal Opportunities Report, and it was unfortunate that maybe a certain tribe was overwhelming opportunities in the civil service. It's unfortunate. But what we need to do, I mentioned earlier that we need to do things in a proper way and in goodwill. We need to do that properly. But if we continue doing things like this, this country is not helping it. Because remember, what we are sowing the seed. What we are doing now, it will affect either our children or our grandchildren. You may think that by the time it ruptures, I won't be there. But you also You have kids. Those kids, you have kids. I getting. The reason why Dr. Prometheus Bote is his tribe is Elami. But by then, why UPC government and UPC was, it had the slogan of everywhere. It was not just a matter of slogan yelling, you know. It was based on service. The hospital you'll find in Bushenyi, it's the same hospital you're going to find in Ujili, you're going to find in Tororo, you're going to find everywhere. And the same service. You do not need to move from Namutumba district, where I come from, to go to Mulago over a manageable issue. But right now, when I was discussing earlier on, you may find that just a small medical issue that can be manageable by a health center 3, it's being referred to National Referral Hospital. That's wrong. And the reason why it's being referred, there are no facilities, supporting facilities, no medicine, no what, and they will have no option to refer. But the service you get in Mulago, unless Dr. Prometheus was, there was an attempt on his life here at Lugogo. He was treated at Mulago Hospital. But now, right now, if an MOP has some malaria symptoms, he is seeking for leave. I getting for medical leave and abroad. I getting. But there are people in charge of ensuring that our systems work. That there's an education system that works. There is a health system that works for all of us. If you can't lead by example, you can't go in Mulago and lead us by example, then how about this common person? And that's the only alternative for the common person. We all know that the common person cannot even afford.
Maybe if I can ask you this direct question.
Yes.
If we have a minister, say Minister of Education, a Minister of Health, a Minister of, and say Minister of Education and their children are not studying in Ugandan schools, a Minister of Health, and I'm not saying our ministers, I'm creating a scenario. Yes. And this minister is going for medication outside the country. A Minister of Agriculture who imports chicken, a Minister of whichever field. Is that not reason enough for this minister to resign? Is it not a vote of no confidence in the minister? You're presiding over a system you do not trust.
And the nurturing of our politics and the nurturing of our service, I think that it's affecting all. You see, recently there was a fight against corruption in this country. But it's not that we cannot fight corruption. A number of people, including us, we are saying that why are we targeting the small fish? Are you getting? Yet we know those who are committing such corruption cases. When there was a corruption match, I think it was championed by the President, His Excellency, Yoweri Museveni. They marched up to Kororo. The then deputy, the then deputy Speaker of Parliament, that is the late
Jacob
Olanya. He said boldly that all of us, we are corrupt. So we need to stop that tendency. And it takes goodwill to know that what I'm doing is bad.
But you see...
And I'm not saying that only the top officials, but even us who are giving...
You fault the agencies for capturing the small fish.
Yes.
But maybe it's our governance system. You have, say, CDF...
But I need to be on record.
A minister...
I need to be on record on this.
Please.
Corruption is corruption.
Yes.
I don't want to say that why are they targeting the smaller fish. I can correct that. If you have done an offense, even if it's corruption of 1K, it's corruption. I getting. But again, the goodwill we are speaking about recently, you also saw at Kororo when the Honorable Betty Kamya, the Inspectorate of Government under IGG, when she attempted to come up with the lifestyle audit. What did the Fountain of Honor say? I getting. So we need to have that goodwill. He said, go slow, my
daughter.
I getting. So there must be goodwill of fighting corruption. It must start by up. the leaders, those who are responsible, if your minister has committed an offense, what steps have you taken? Are you getting? So the goodwill, it's not that we cannot manage that fight. We can, but you, as the host of this program, do you have the goodwill to call on us to keep law, to keep order in this house?
Like you say that it is important for the people from the top to have the goodwill, I would implore you,
Yes,
from the UPC, through
Yes.
your party president, you advise the president in power, with whom you have a relationship, to have the goodwill to allow these institutions to work. We've seen him say, you know, my IGG, my corrupt people, when you attack them, they will run out of the country.
invest
What
outside.
has the UPC done in this relationship?
Thank you. I told you, and you also rightly know, that UPC is an opposition political party, a government in waiting. Are you getting?
You
So
have a relationship with the ruling government.
Yes,
You
but
seem to have a romantic relationship.
I don't know, whatever word you may use, romanticize, but what I'm saying is that we are limited to offering guidance. Are you getting? We are limited. We cannot implement. Those with powers, we can offer guidance. Like here, we are offering guidance. We don't have the mandate to implement. So if you also look into our ideas and you think they can work for the betterment of this country, you implement. If you don't implement it until we are there, that we can be held accountable. So those who are in positions of responsibility should exercise and execute their duties diligently and with social responsibility. You get? That's the point of emphasis. What we should all
Thank
of
you.
us.
I think
Maybe
Mugumya wants
moderator,
to
if
There's
you-
one thing I did not clarify
If you
as
allow
you
me
come
to
in.
interject a little bit. on
Just
the
small
point of
clarification.
corruption.
You say that I'm not the spokesperson of the party. I am the head of media and communications department.
Yes.
The spokesperson is Comrade Sharon Arach Oyat.
Thank you for that.
Okay,
Please.
just on the issue of corruption that my brother was talking about. For starters, corruption is a two-sided coin. And these are hard conversations. Not everyone wants to talk about it. Why do I say it's a two-sided coin? Those benefiting from it do not actually call it corruption. They call it connection or opportunities, and they are not ready to condemn it. Whereas those that are affected by corruption and they don't benefit from it, they call it corruption. But are Ugandans ready to really tackle the problem of corruption? Because it is even in the private sector. It is in the public domain, not only in government.
Everywhere.
That even in the private sector, they know that before they win a bid somewhere, they have to give a kickback. On the streets, they know that if you want something, you must vomit something. In schools, primary schools, secondary schools, they know that without giving what you call logistics, you are not going to win elections. I was at Makerere University, that when you don't have money, you don't win elections. So corruption is something that is unfortunate, that it is in the bone marrow of every Ugandan. There is no Ugandan, and I should be quoted on record, who has more authority to condemn corruption. We have all fell short of expectations on corruption, and someone is ready to condemn corruption when they are not benefiting from it. The moment he comes in that office, he starts on recruiting, on kinsmen, on they don't even call it corruption, they call it connection.
It's a big thing.
It's something that needs a holistic approach, comprehensive, holistic approach to tackle. I'm afraid how we are going to tackle corruption in this country. The people always they say government is corrupt, government officials are corrupt, but I am aware that also the public is corrupt. The public is corrupt. That once you need anything, you are not going to get it for free. That even a mere information, when you talk to a border guy and say, can you direct me somewhere? He's not going to direct you without vomiting 1,000 shillings. So this is where it is coming. On the streets, when you're buying fruits, the moral decadence on the street is too much. You're buying fruits, but they put real fruits on top. back down when you remain in the car and you're buying something on the street. They will defraud you, and that's corruption. That they will put the fruits on top. If you're buying fruits,
Down
they
is
put
space.
good fruits on top. Down they put stones. When you reach home, you realize something was heavy, but down is stone. So the moral decadence in the country, the public have no moral right to really talk about corruption because it is in the bone marrow of literally every Ugandan. That if you conducted an audit of I've studied corruption at the both at my first degree and at master's, and I can tell you that corruption is huge. That it has so many forms: embezzlement, bribery, auto corruption. It has fraud. It has extortion. It has things like nepotism, favoritism. It has things like documents.
So big and more.
It's a huge thing that once you need to tackle, it calls for a holistic, comprehensive approach to tackle the issue of corruption.
Where have we failed as a people? Because in that aspect, I was reading papers yesterday, and for example, the Minister of Microfinance is allegedly said to have taken 2 billion from PDM money and used it for his personal benefit. A few months ago, there was a climate conference in the United States, and Uganda sent 71 representatives. That is way beyond, but that was as if that was just a baby. Just COP28 today in Dubai, Uganda sent 600 delegates. 600.
But where the other issue of 71, it wasn't true. It was less. But also we need to find out if it is true that Uganda has really footed the bill of 600 people. We need to find out, conduct good research, find out, is it true that Uganda shall foot the bill of 600 people that have gone to Dubai, including air ticket and their per diem? You could find that Uganda is going to finance a few, but a few have gone with that. We need to really find out. But if that is true, we condemn it with the strongest terms possible. How on earth can Uganda send 600 people in a conference in Dubai? That's a huge budget. And for a long time, the president has had issues on travels abroad. He's clear on travels abroad that you see, guys, let's spend money on things that matter as opposed to travels abroad. And you must have heard him about that. He's clear and he's saying, let's not waste too much money on travels abroad and use the same money to do things that help the citizen. Honestly, if I was in charge, I wouldn't. I'm in charge.
You know, the president says these very nice things over time, but people will fault him on a couple of things. For example, in his budget, he has 137 billion for donations. In his budget, he has about 40 billion for presidential parties. In his budget, he has very many things. And just yesterday, the State House put out a request for a supplementary budget of 100 billion. Does he mean what he says?
Well, the president doesn't pass his budget. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
That's the baseline. That the budget, appropriating the budget in Parliament is not the work of the president. A team in Parliament is charged with appropriation, and budget is always debated in the August House. So when you say the president was given 137 billion, you are not going to fault the president. I expected you to fault Parliament.
You see,
because you see,
Constitution talks, I think, if to be specific, the Presidential Remunerations Act talks about what the president is supposed to get. How does the president get this excess? It is he comes to members of parliament from the UPC and the NRMs and says, I need this money, give it to me, I'll give you this. And they do it. Is that not promotion of corruption?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but all I know is that the president during budget, the president is the Minister of Finance.
I'll tell you something you know about.
Mm.
You know that NRM MPs were bribed, were given some money to pass the age limit debate. You know they were given money.
That is unfortunate. The idea that for you to pass a bill, you're going to be first paid. In any case, it is a noble deed of parliamentarians pass bills. Do they need to be paid?
Why did he pay them?
They are paid on a monthly basis by the parliament to do and conduct their work and represent the views of the people. So if you're paid, does it mean if you're paid by the president to pass a bill that he's interested in, which interest are you presenting? Are you representing? Are you representing the people or your own interest?
Their interest.
Exactly. So for me, I'm glad you're bringing it up, that the crop of MPs that we have today in the parliament are people that are probably not noble, because on several instances I've seen them that they are swayed, they are quick to be swayed by money, the issue of money, that wherever they see money, they are quick to reach there and harvest that money. So these are people that you're not going to trust. The crop, the current crop, there are very few MPs that stand to their soul in the current parliament of Uganda. Wherever there is money, they are swayed by money and they are swayed by their personal interest as opposed to the interest of the people they represent. So if you're paid to pass a bill that the president is paid for, I will not blame the president. I will blame you.
You blame the president for accepting to
But
pay a bribe.
They could
Why would you
have.
accept?
Why did you? They could have stood their ground and said no, sir. Could the president have passed that bill without the input of parliament? Exactly. So you're quick to blame the giver if he gave. I'm not sure, but you don't want to blame the taker. That's my point of departure.
If the taker rejected,
That if the taker rejected the money, that means that bill that the law that they passed could not have passed. So why are you faulting the president that he bribed people and they passed the age limit? Why can't you say we entirely blame parliament for having accepted the bribe and passed the bill, the contentious bill that they are talking about? For me, that's my point of departure. I will not come and blame the president. No, I will blame if I'm a married man, if a man, they use the word vibe for this context, allow me use the word vibe. If a man out there came and vibed my wife and went with my wife in a bed, I'm not going to blame the man, because it was incumbent on my wife to say, sorry, sir, I'm a married man, I'm not interested in you. So the man was passing his point, and now he has succeeded in his point. So the blame should be on my wife, who couldn't stand on her soul and say, no, I'm a married man. That's my point of departure, that parliamentarians have a huge blame on the issue of corruption, and they have no moral right whatsoever to mention anything to do with corruption. Because we've seen them on several occasions, not once, not twice, but times without number. They are faulting to deceive. They are interested in money. Every time there is an issue with money, you will attract them. And that's the problem we have with this parliament.
Thank you so much. I want to come to you, the UPC man.
yes,
You know, the UPC has a relationship with the NRM, and two, the NRM has a partnership with the Democratic Party. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the Honorable Norbert Mao, has for a long time been singing something called National Truth and Reconciliation. He says, in his words, Uganda is like a pressure cooker, and we need to create a vent for this pressure to move out, because if it doesn't, then this cooker is going to explode. And you tried to give us a background of the challenges we've had in this country. Maybe for the benefit of the viewer, I could cite a few of them. Right from independence, we know that there was a disagreement between Buganda and the entire Uganda. Buganda wants to get independence on its own, apart from the entire Uganda. Come to the UPC government, you have disagreements between UPC and DP. Come 1966, UPC and the Buganda Kingdom, you attack the kingdom. Kabaka goes to exile. 71, there is a coup, UPC is out, Idi Amin is in. The challenges that happened with the Idi Amin government, the war that happened to take him out, President Museveni was a part of it, the troops from Tanzania. 79, Idi Amin is out, the transition time of the military council chaired by Paul Muwanga. It was not a settled one. Talk about 1980, the election we had that President Museveni lost in about 4th position and prompted him to go into the bush. The 5 years of the guerrilla war, that was trouble for the country. Talk about the Tito Okello regime, talk about the NRA coming in and the things that happened at the takeover. Everyone will give a different story, but key to note that very many people died in that period. And the NRM now, we are discussing political prisoners, we are discussing people in prisons, we are discussing, abductions, we are discussing people being killed in demonstrations and so on. There are challenges in the country, and the chairman now says, we need to reconcile, we need to sit, we must have dialogue as a people. And you've said the APC believes in constructive engagements. Do you think we need national truth and reconciliation at this point?
Long overdue. We need it. Because as you've just given us the account of those events, you see, even before independence, there were other activities. Talk about the Ignatius Kangafe Musazi.
Yes.
One of the founding fathers of this nation. You've left them about. They had those movements which they turned into political parties. Talk about the UNC, talk about the UPU, then the UPC.
Yes.
Are you getting?
Talk about the Bataka Party, Abubeka Kacha, Mama Yanja, and how the colonial government actually treated these people.
Yes. So there was a lot coming out of that colonial era and getting independence, then building the foundation of this country with all those challenges. So where we have come as a country, and going by experience and with the account you've given, we don't think that this country need again to bleed. We don't need bloodshed. The Honorable Batimao, my party president, also Honorable Jimmy Michael Akenobote, it took them to go to the bush and meet Joseph Kony. You know what happened in northern Uganda? Things were not good. But why would you commit your life meeting Joseph Kony? If you look at the pictures, what he was doing in northern Uganda, and then you are collecting the guts to go in the bush and meet him, means you mean peace. You need and mean peace. Are you getting? So today we stand with the spirit of the approach of the Honorable Batimau, that this country needs national healing, and that healing can really come through truth telling and reconciliation. But there must be goodwill, not just go there and make political statements. It's a bit different. And to appease others on face value, we must mean it. If we went meaning-free and in the interest of peace of this country, regardless of the political parties we are affiliated to, and met Kony in the bush. Are you getting? So much as you believe in NRM, I believe in UPC, but we are brothers. Let us focus on the policies. That for me as UPC, I believe in a mixed economy, and these are the issues. I believe in a welfare state. Are you getting? And these are the issues. We don't need to stone each other. We are brothers, we are sisters. You're my father, you're my grandfather. We are the same people. Different color, world over and Africa. Are you getting? So peace is very paramount. Truth and national reconciliation is very important. And before there, we need to start on that by dialoguing with each other, by engaging with each other. When that iPod came, people thought, our sister political parties thought that iPod is a platform to remove NRM from government and hand over power to them. No. No one would, there is no government that would accept a platform to remove it, to remove her from power. It's not there. But this was a platform. But if there are issues beyond us and issues are going back, how do we resolve it? So all of us political players and leaders, we come on table, we said, no, here you're going overboard. Can we have this, that we go in the field when there is a level ground? We are not saying that, you go away, but let's go in the field when the level is grounded for all of us to play clean politics. Not that what? Politics. Are you getting? So that's the emphasis as UPC we are putting on. That iPod and people, they misunderstood us and the platform. Others, they wanted to go to the platform with ransom, with conditions. Things don't work out that way. Are you getting? So if there is any political party whose members have suffered a lot, it's UPC. But we don't want to go backwards. That's what happened. And as a younger democratic country, with our younger democracy, we have gone through all those huge challenges. By now, we should be sitting on table to discuss and champion the ideas that means well for this country.
The UPC seems to be enjoying so much the relationship with the NRM.
It's not enjoying. That's where you people go wrong sometimes. It's not enjoying. But what do? Do you want to go to the bush? Are you getting? Do you want to go back to the bush? Of course, no. We fought to restore also when the former president of this country, Dr. Promito, but when he was in exile in Tanzania, in Zambia, much as he was not on the ground, but he fought hard through the members who were on the ground, through the lawyers, and through also joining with other forces to restore multi-party politics in this country, which was indeed restored in 2005. So now we are in multi-party dispensation. We need to talk to each other. Are you getting? You say that you see government is financing political parties, Law Electoral Commission, which under political parties and organizations voting act. But other people don't want to associate to that. Are you getting? In iPod, through my able leader, is under his chairmanship in 2008, it was the first summit ever since iPod was created. The first summit was held in 2018 when UPC was in the lead, was holding the leadership of that platform. And they discussed a lot of issues that resulted into the increment of that 10 billion. They used to give 10 billion to political parties per year or annually. Now it's 35 billion. But you see, an achievement of the summit. Are you getting? Now, yes. Now people who are also enjoying the fruits of that iPod summit, they want to suspend. To suspend. Are you getting? It's a useless platform. It's not a useless platform.
Thank you. I want to ask you something, and I need a direct answer.
Yes.
If the Honorable Dr. Milton Apollo Bote rose up today and came and studied the position of UPC today and how it's engaging, would he be happy with the position of the UPC today?
What's that position?
In a relationship with the NRM?
No, there is what we call working.
Please, a direct answer.
No, I cannot give you yes or no. That's not a debate. Are you getting? But what I'm saying here, when UPC won the 1980 elections, UPC invited the Democratic Party to work together. Are you getting? So it has been the norm. Go back to 1962. Are you getting? Have you heard about Kabaka Yeka and UPC?
Yes.
Have you heard about it?
I know.
So the spirit of constructive engagements did not start yesterday. It has been there. It has been a UPC norm that after elections, now we need to serve our people. Can you come and we serve? Even in 1980, we invited our colleagues to come and serve, but only that they declined. But it has been the spirit. It's not that we are calling them to join UPC. No. but to serve the people. Even here, elections are over. Can we serve the people? Can we engage each other? Can we dialogue? Can we talk and serve the people and deliver?
Thank you so much on that point. I want to pick your view briefly on the aspect of national dialogue and reconciliation.
Well, the issue of reconciliation and national dialogue, first and foremost, I admire Norbert Mao. He's a seasoned lawyer. He's a good debater. I've been a fan of Norbert Mao when it comes to debate for a long period of time. Now, I like Norbert Mao's approach, mature approach of politics, handling politics. Dialogue in a country like Uganda, where you're claiming that there is no civic space, there is this and that, then how will you be able to obtain what you want if you don't allow dialogue? The iPod, for a long time, some opposition members are saying iPod is a platform for merrymaking, for shaking hands with the head of state, and therefore it may not yield. But Norbert Mao says, hey, you're wrong on that, and I can show you that we can engage government on a couple of issues and government responds. Now, like I said, ever since we had multi-party dispensation, there is no party that can work in isolation. Whereas the NRM makes about 60% of the composition of MPs in the parliament, because they have about 300 and something MPs, and the total number of MPs are 557. But whereas NRM has the biggest number, they can still carry out debates without the opposition. But what kind of debate is that? We need the views of the opposition. That's why I was saying that the issue of boycotting is not good, because you see, even when NRM can continue with the business, because you know also that NRM has many independent but NRM leaning, so they can still continue with the business. But you see, in a modern multi-party dispensation, if you don't have the input of the opposition, then your debates, your policies, your laws that are passed will lack impartiality, because it means there was no the views of the opposition members. Now, if you don't agree with the dialogue, then how are you going to engage government? Because government is saying, hey, we are open to talk. We are open to talk any day, any time. But the opposition, and also I blame the kind of politics in Uganda. Anytime you're seen with the head of state, what comes to the mind of the people?
His boat.
His boat. So the people now are worried to be seen having a presidential handshake, because people will say, that one was in State House yesterday and therefore his boat. Meaning that we are losing the element of dialogue, because people seem to be scared to be seen with the ruling party. Because if you're seen with the ruling party, the next thing that comes up, you are bought. On several occasions, not once, not twice, but times without. Norbert Mao, they say that he's always in a political bed with the establishment. But what would you want him to do? To go on the street every day, yet there is no yield? So the issue of dialogue,
Briefly,
I concur with it. As long as there is will, there is political will, and there is goodwill between all the parties, and that they are interested in really dialoguing, so that we see the country moving forward.
The issue of dialogue is very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Robert Mugumya, for joining us today. Thank you so much from the UPC, Mr. Faizo Muzeyi, for joining us today. And thank you so much to you, our viewer, for being with us all this time. It is the Youth Roundtable on Civic Space TV. Remember, this is made possible by the Center for Constitutional Governance Uganda, and we do appreciate the work you put on widening and growing the civic competence of Ugandans. To my technical team, Rashid and Paul, thank you so much. I am Philip Muliisa, and I shall see you next time.